June 10th, 2020. Dubai, 5:47 a.m. The Palazzo Versace penthouse gleams against the Persian Gulf, a palace of excess. Inside, Ramon Abbas sleeps in silk sheets worth more than most people make in a year. Outside, 47 armed officers hold their positions in silence. Dubai CID, Interpol, FBI agents halfway across the world. Weeks of planning. One target. A man whose Instagram boasts 2.5 million followers. Rolls-Royces parked on marble driveways. Private jets to Paris for lunch. Gucci shopping bags stacked like groceries. A man the world calls Hushpuppi. The lead officer counts down. 3, 2, 1. The door explodes inward. Flashlights cut through darkness. Voices shout in Arabic and English. Abbas jolts awake, disoriented. His phone, always buzzing, is ripped from the nightstand. Italian marble presses against his face as agents swarm the penthouse. Laptops, hard drives, 18 phones, dozens of luxury watches, credit cards and false names, and in a locked drawer, printed emails, screenshots, bank account numbers, the digital trail of millions traced across continents. Outside, the sun rises over Dubai, a city of wealth, ambition, and illusion. For 3 years, it was Abbas's stage, but now the spotlight is burning hot. Because the man being dragged out in handcuffs isn't just an influencer. He's a ghost walking in broad daylight, a thief who never picked a lock, a cyber criminal who convinced banks to rob themselves. By the time authorities noticed, he and his network had attempted to steal over $1 billion. So, how did a kid from the slums of Lagos become one of the world's most wanted cybercriminals? This is the story of Hushpuppi. Dubai, 2018-2020. The city is perfect for a man like Hushpuppi, a metropolis built on audacity and oil money, where skyscrapers pierce the clouds like glass needles and wealth flows like the desert wind. No income tax, minimal questions. A haven for the global elite, oligarchs, tech billionaires, Instagram influencers, and everyone in between who prefers their privacy expensive and their lifestyle loud. Abbas blends in by standing out. He rents penthouses with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the Burj Khalifa. He throws parties where champagne costs more than cars. He commissions custom Rolls-Royces in colors that don't exist in the factory catalog. His Instagram becomes a religion of excess. One post shows him in a private jet. Caption, "I hope you woke up this morning with a new vision." Another, stacks of euro notes arranged artfully on a hotel bed. Another, a walk-in closet organized by designer brand. Gucci on one wall, Versace on another, Louis Vuitton filling an entire corner. The comments pour in like worship. King of luxury. Teach me, bro. This is goals. But beneath the surface, beneath the staged photo shoots and the carefully curated captions, the machine is running at full capacity. Abbas isn't just a figurehead. He's the CEO of a criminal enterprise. His team operates like a Fortune 500 company. Specialists in every role. Hackers who infiltrate email systems. Catchers who set up shell companies and bank accounts to receive stolen funds. Money launderers who move millions through cryptocurrency, Hawala networks, and offshore accounts. Coordinators who manage operations across time zones and continents. And a boss, always a boss, at the center, managing relationships, vetting targets, directing the flow of money. It's sophisticated, professional, ruthlessly efficient, but it's also getting noticed. Across the world, in a nondescript office building in Los Angeles, FBI Special Agent John Flood is staring at a spreadsheet that doesn't make sense. Bank fraud reports, business email compromise cases, all following similar patterns, all connected by digital threads so thin they're almost invisible. A wire transfer intercepted in Malta, $14.7 million gone. A law firm in New York nearly losing $900,000 to a fake invoice. A UK business robbed mid-transaction. The cases pile up. Different victims, different countries, but the methodology is identical. The same precise timing, the same psychological manipulation, the same ghost trails through international banking systems. Someone is running a network. Flood starts pulling on threads, metadata from spoofed emails, IP addresses logged during phishing attempts, cryptocurrency wallet transactions, bank accounts in Malaysia, Turkey, Kenya, countries chosen specifically for loose financial oversight and slow cooperation with Western law enforcement. And then a break, an informant, someone inside the network who got scared or greedy or both. They provide a name, not Ramon Abbas, Hushpuppi. The FBI agent Googles it, and there he is, smiling in a Gucci fur coat, posing next to a Maybach, holding a Louis Vuitton duffel bag, stuffed, allegedly, with cash. 2.5 million followers, public, loud, brazen. Flood can't believe it. Criminals usually hide. They use aliases, stay offline, avoid cameras. This guy is broadcasting his wealth to the entire world like he's auditioning for a reality show. It's arrogance or genius, maybe both. The FBI begins building a case, but there's a problem: jurisdiction. Abbas is in Dubai. His victims are scattered across Europe and North America. His team operates from Nigeria, Malaysia, the Philippines. This isn't a local crime. It's transnational, which means coordination between agencies that don't always play well together. The FBI reaches out to Interpol, to the Dubai CID, to Europol. They share intelligence, compare notes, build a timeline. Slowly, painstakingly, the picture comes into focus. Ramon Abbas isn't just involved in a few scams. He's a kingpin. The U.S. Attorney's Office will later describe him as a key figure in a global network responsible for hundreds of millions in losses. But building a case and making an arrest are two different things. Dubai doesn't extradite easily. Abbas has money, lawyers, connections, and as long as he stays in the UAE, he's out of reach of American courts. The FBI needs him caught red-handed. They need cooperation from Dubai. They need evidence so airtight that even the best legal team can't poke holes in it. So they watch and they wait. And Abbas, he keeps posting. March 2020, the world shuts down for COVID-19. Borders close, flights cancel, entire economies grind to a halt. But not Hushpuppies. While millions shelter in place, Abbas posts a video from his penthouse balcony, the Dubai skyline glittering behind him, wearing a silk robe and holding a glass of champagne. "Quarantine in luxury," the caption reads. "Stay safe, kings." He has no idea that half a dozen law enforcement agencies are building a digital cage around him. He has no idea that every post, every flex, every public display of stolen wealth is another piece of evidence. He has no idea that in a conference room in Los Angeles, agents are finalizing an operation with a single objective: bring Hushpuppi down. The plan is called Operation Fox Hunt 2. And the clock is ticking. Because Abbas is getting bolder, his schemes are getting bigger. And if they don't move soon, the next victim could lose everything. April 2020, Abbas's team targets another bank, another intricate BEC scheme, another multi-million-dollar transfer ready to be redirected. But this time, the FBI is watching in real time. They've infiltrated his communications. They know his next move before he makes it. And they decide, enough. It's time to end the show. June 9th, 2020, 11:34 p.m. In Dubai, Ramon Abbas is editing an Instagram post, a photo of himself in a custom tuxedo, Cartier cufflinks catching the light. The caption is already written: "Excellence is not an act, but a habit." In Los Angeles, FBI agents are boarding a secure video call with Dubai CID commanders. Final briefing, final confirmations. The Dubai police have been watching Abbas for weeks, surveillance teams tracking his movements, tech specialists monitoring his digital footprint. Everything coordinated with the FBI, Interpol, and the US Attorney's Office. The evidence is overwhelming. Terabytes of data. Financial records showing millions flowing through accounts tied to Abbas. Email logs proving his role in the Beck schemes. Testimony from victims. Digital breadcrumbs leading back to the Palazzo Versace penthouse like a GPS coordinate for guilt. But they need more than evidence. They need him. The operation is greenlit. 47 officers, tactical teams, digital forensics units ready to seize and preserve every device before Abbas can wipe them remotely. Zero room for error. Because if he gets spooked, if he catches even a whisper of what's coming, he'll run. Or worse, he'll vanish into the bureaucratic labyrinth of international law, hiding behind lawyers and diplomatic complications for years. This has to be clean, fast, decisive. June 10th, 5:47 a.m. The knock never comes. The door just explodes. Abbas wakes to chaos, flashlights in his eyes, hands yanking him from bed, shouting in languages that blur together. He tries to speak, to explain, to negotiate, to deploy the charm that's gotten him out of tight spots before, but there's no room for conversation. This isn't a shakedown. This is the end game. They cuff him, read him his rights in Arabic and English. He's still half asleep, still processing, still probably thinking this is a mistake, a misunderstanding, something money can fix. But as the agents swarm through his penthouse, seizing laptops, phones, hard drives, watches, passports, the reality begins to sink in. They know everything. In one closet, designer clothes worth $500,000. In another, cash in multiple currencies, dollars, euros, dirhams, stacked in Louis Vuitton luggage. On his phones, encrypted messaging apps, contacts saved under aliases, conversations about clients and transfers and processing fees, the coded language of cybercrime dressed up as business jargon. On his computers, the blueprints of the empire, spreadsheets tracking stolen funds, email templates used in BEC schemes, lists of compromised accounts, payment routes through shell companies in 4 continents, and photos. Thousands of photos, staged but never posted. The behind the scenes of the Instagram illusion. Abbas arranging cash on a bed, checking angles, retaking shots until the flex looked effortless. The performance deconstructed. The agents bag everything, every device, every document, every piece of evidence that will later be cataloged, analyzed, and presented in a federal courtroom 8,000 miles away. To understand the man, let's start where he began.
Lagos, Nigeria, late 1980s. Ramon Abbas is born in Oworan-Shoki, a slum where the air tastes like diesel and desperation. Tin roofs lean into each other. Open sewers cut the dirt paths.
Power stutters like a broken promise. Dreams die here, unless you refuse. Abbas watches, always watches. Rich convoys roll by, tinted SUVs, phones to ears, deals worth millions. Sharp suits, oil men, politicians whose kids attend schools in London and Dubai. He sees the gap, a canyon you need wings to cross. He learns one brutal rule. Look like you've arrived, and nobody asks where you came from. Perception is power. He starts small. Knockoff Gucci, fake Versace, sold on Lagos Island. Not cheap junk, the good fakes that pass a glance. Gucci belts, Louis bags stitched in back rooms. Men buy the look. Status sells. He's smooth, charismatic. He knows how people bend their last naira for image. But street hustle caps out. Abbas wants altitude. By his 20s, he moves online. Yahoo. Romance scams, advance fees, crude, obvious, low margins. But it teaches him the tricks. How to tell a story, win trust, pull on emotion through a screen. Then he learns the real con. Don't trick people, trick systems. By the mid-2010s, Abbas has evolved. He's no longer the street hustler from Oworan-Shoki. He's rebranded, reinvented. He's moved to Malaysia, then Dubai, cities where wealth is worshipped and questions are expensive. He calls himself Hushpuppi. The name is the act. Hush, stay smooth. Puppy, playful, underestimated. A persona that raises more questions than answers. Real estate? Investments? Tech? He never says. He never quite says. And that's the genius. On Instagram, Hushpuppi's feed is a masterclass in manufactured mystique. Hermes bags, Richard Mille watches, Ferraris and Bentleys, private jets, champagne on yachts, stacks of cash fanned out like playing cards. Every post a performance, every caption a breadcrumb. Gucci down to the socks. If you're gonna be different, you gotta live different. Success is the best revenge. His followers eat it up, 2.5 million of them. Aspiring hustlers, fans of luxury, people who want to believe the rags to riches story because it means they could do it too. But behind the curated perfection, behind the Versace robes and Dubai penthouses, Ramon Abbas is working, not as an influencer, but as a cyber criminal mastermind. While the world double taps his photos, he's orchestrating business email compromise schemes. Hacks so elegant, so psychologically precise, they bypass firewalls and exploit the weakest link in any security system: human trust. He doesn't break into banks. He walks in through the front door, wearing their language, their authority, their identity. And by the time anyone notices, the money is already gone. Understand this. Ramon Abbas is not a hacker in the traditional sense. He doesn't write code, he doesn't exploit zero-day vulnerabilities, he doesn't tunnel through firewalls in basement server rooms lit by the glow of green text on black screens. He's something more dangerous. He's a social engineer, a psychological infiltrator, a master of the oldest con in the book, making people believe he's someone he's not. The scheme is called Business Email Compromise, BEC for short, and it's devastatingly simple. Here's how it works. Step 1. Research. Abbas and his crew, a global network of hackers, money launderers, and coordinators spread across Nigeria, Dubai, Malaysia, and beyond, identify a target. Usually a company in the middle of a massive transaction, a bank wiring funds to a client, a law firm handling an acquisition, a business closing a multi-million-dollar deal. They study, they watch, they learn the names, the email patterns, the corporate hierarchy, who reports to whom, who signs off on payments, who trusts whom. Step 2. Infiltration. They hack into the email account of a key executive, not through sophisticated malware, but often through simple phishing, a fake login page, a spoofed email from IT support. One click, one password, that's all it takes. Once they're inside, they read everything: months of correspondence, contracts, payment schedules, the intimate architecture of trust built between business partners who've never met face-to-face and who communicate entirely through email. Step 3. The pivot. At the critical moment, when a payment is about to be sent, when millions are ready to move, Abbas's team strikes. They send an email, not from a fake account, but from the real account, the executive's actual email address. Slight change of plans. Wire the funds to this account instead. New banking details attached. Urgent. Deal closes Friday. The language is perfect. The tone matches. The email signature is identical. Because they've been reading this person's emails for months, they know how he writes, how he signs off, what he calls his colleagues. The recipient has no reason to doubt. Why would they? The email came from their trusted partner. Same address, same thread, same deal they've been working on for weeks. They click, they authorize, they wire the money. And just like that, millions of dollars vanish into a web of shell accounts, cryptocurrency exchanges, and international banks designed to obscure the trail like smoke and fog. By the time anyone realizes what happened, the money has been laundered through a dozen countries, converted, moved, and dissolved into the global financial system like salt into the ocean. Impossible to recover. This is Abbas's art. In 2019, his crew targets a Maltese bank in the middle of a loan transfer for a client. The victim, a company expecting a legitimate $15 million wire. Abbas's team intercepts the communication, changes the routing details, and redirects the payment. $14.7 million lands in accounts controlled by Hushpuppi and his associates. The bank doesn't notice for weeks. But a boss isn't satisfied with one score. He's thinking bigger, bolder. His network attempts a hack on an English Premier League football club, one of the most famous teams in the world. The goal, intercept a wire transfer during a stadium construction deal, $124 million. They get inside the email system, craft the message, and wait for the perfect moment. But this time, something goes wrong. Someone double-checks, a phone call is made, the discrepancy is caught just in time. The wire never goes through. Still, the ambition is breathtaking. A football club, a Premier League club. The audacity alone is staggering. And a boss doesn't stop there. According to U.S. court documents, his network was involved in schemes attempting to steal a combined total of over 1.1 billion, not million, billion, from banks, businesses, law firms, and wealthy individuals across continents. All of it orchestrated through compromised emails, patient reconnaissance, and flawless impersonation. All of it while a boss posts photos on Instagram holding a tiger cub in Dubai, wearing a $50,000 watch, laughing in a Lamborghini. The con isn't just financial. The con is his entire life. Because every post, every flex, every ostentatious display of wealth serves a dual purpose. It's both the reward and the cover story. If anyone asks where the money comes from, the Instagram feed provides the answer. Look at me, I'm obviously successful. Nobody digs deeper. Nobody wants to ruin the fantasy. And for a while, it works. For a while, Ramon Abbas is untouchable. Abbas is taken downstairs in handcuffs. No silk robe now, no Gucci, just a plain shirt and the sudden, brutal realization that the life he's been living, the persona he's built, is collapsing in real time. Outside, cameras are waiting, because the Dubai police know how to make a statement. They film everything: the arrest, the evidence, the luxury cars in Abbas's garage, a Bentley, a Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a Maybach, all confiscated. They photograph the penthouse, the designer clothes, the watches worth more than houses, and then they release it. A slickly produced video posted to the Dubai CID's official channels, titled "Hushpuppi Arrested." It goes viral instantly. On Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, the same platforms Abbas used to build his myth, the world watches him fall. The comments are vicious, gleeful, shocked. I knew it was too good to be true. Fake life finally caught up. From private jets to prison. His followers, the ones who worshipped him, who wanted to be him, turn on him with the speed of the internet. The posts that once inspired envy now look like evidence. Every flex, every caption, every carefully staged photo suddenly recontextualized as the documentation of a crime spree. But the arrest is just the beginning. Abbas is held in Dubai, but the charges are American. The FBI wants him extradited to the United States to face trial in the Central District of California. His lawyers fight it. Of course they do. They argue jurisdiction. They argue that Abbas should be tried in the UAE. They argue technicalities in treaties and international law. But the evidence is too strong, and the political will is there. Because business email compromise isn't just a crime, it's an epidemic. According to the FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center, BEC schemes cost businesses over $1.8 billion in 2020 alone. It's one of the fastest growing cybercrimes in the world, and Abbas isn't just a criminal, he's a symbol. The UAE agrees to extradition. July 3, 2020. Abbas is placed on a private plane, not the Gulfstream G650 he used to post about, but a government transport with no champagne, no leather seats, no Instagram captions. 16 hours later, he lands in Chicago, then transferred to Los Angeles. He's processed, photographed, fingerprinted. The mugshot is released shortly after. It's jarring. No filters, no angles, no curated lighting. Just Ramon Abbas in an orange jumpsuit, staring at the camera with an expression somewhere between defiance and disbelief. The internet has a field day. Side-by-side comparisons flood social media. Hushpuppi in Gucci versus Hushpuppi in County Orange. The Rolls-Royce versus the holding cell. The penthouse versus the prison. The fall from grace isn't just complete, it's documented, in 4K, archived forever, in the digital memory of a world that loves watching giants crumble. The U.S. Attorney's Office files formal charges: conspiracy to commit money laundering. The indictment details the Maltese bank scheme, $14.7 million stolen and laundered through Abbas's network. But it also outlines the scope: multiple victims, multiple countries, losses exceeding $24 million tied directly to him, and involvement in schemes targeting over $1.1 billion total. If convicted on all counts, Abbas faces up to 20 years in federal prison. His legal team begins preparing a defense, but the evidence is crushing. The FBI has his communications, his financial records, testimony from co-conspirators who flipped, digital forensics linking him directly to compromised email accounts. And then there's his Instagram. Every post is now evidence, every flex a confession. The very platform he used to build his image becomes the rope that tightens around his neck. Months pass, the case builds, negotiations happen behind closed doors, and in November 2021, more than a year after his arrest, Ramon Abbas makes a decision. He pleads guilty, not to everything, but to conspiracy to engage in money laundering, a single count that encapsulates the Maltese bank scheme and his role in the broader network. In his plea agreement, he admits to the $14.7 million theft. He admits to his role. He admits that the luxury, the lifestyle, the Instagram empire was built on stolen money. The sentencing is scheduled for months later, and while he waits in a federal detention center, the world moves on. His Instagram account is still up, frozen in time. The last post, made days before his arrest, still sits there, slowly accumulating comments. "Where you at, bro? Feds got you, lol. Shoulda stayed quiet." The irony is almost poetic. Hushpuppi, the name that meant stay quiet, stay smooth, destroyed by the noise he couldn't resist making.
November 7th, 2022. United States District Court, Central District of California. The courtroom is nothing like the Palazzo Versace penthouse. No marble floors, no panoramic views, just fluorescent lights, wooden benches, and the quiet weight of justice moving at its deliberate pace. Ramon Olorunwa Abbas stands before Judge Otis D. Wright II. He's wearing a prison-issued suit. No Gucci, no Versace, no custom tailoring. His hands are cuffed, his expression is carefully neutral, but something has changed in his eyes. Maybe it's humility, maybe it's exhaustion, maybe it's just the look of a man who's had 18 months in federal detention to contemplate the distance between who he pretended to be and who he actually is. The judge reviews the case file, the evidence, the guilty plea, the victim impact statements. There are many. A small business owner in the UK who lost his life savings when Abbas's crew intercepted a payment. A Maltese bank forced to explain to clients how $14.7 million simply vanished. A law firm's reputation damaged. An entire English Premier League club's financial team traumatized by how close they came to losing $124 million. These aren't nameless corporations. Behind every wire transfer, every compromised email, every stolen dollar, there are people, families, dreams deferred or destroyed. The prosecution presents its recommendation. They want the maximum sentence. They argue that Abbas wasn't just a participant, he was a leader, an organizer, a symbol of a global crime wave that costs businesses billions annually. They cite his lack of remorse, his flaunting of stolen wealth, his Instagram account as evidence of a man who saw crime not as a necessity, but as a game, a performance, a flex. The defense argues for leniency. They present letters from Abbas's family. They talk about his difficult upbringing in Lagos, the poverty, the lack of opportunities. They frame him as a product of systemic inequality, a smart young man who chose the wrong path because the right one seemed impossibly out of reach. It's a narrative with some truth, but not enough. Because plenty of people grow up poor. Plenty of people face impossible odds. Most don't respond by stealing millions and posting about it online. Abbas is given a chance to speak. He stands, clears his throat. The courtroom goes silent. "Your Honor," he begins, his voice quieter than you'd expect from a man who once commanded millions of followers. "I take full responsibility for my actions. I know I hurt people. I know I caused real harm, and I'm sorry." He pauses, swallows. "I got caught up in wanting to be seen as successful, in wanting to prove I was more than where I came from.
But I did it the wrong way, and I understand that now. It's hard to know how much is genuine and how much is performance. Maybe even a boss doesn't know anymore. When you've spent years crafting a persona, when every word and image has been calculated for effect, where does the act end and the truth begin? Judge Wright listens. He's heard allocutions before, apologies from defendants who suddenly find religion or remorse when facing decades behind bars. He's not unsympathetic, but sympathy doesn't erase the harm. He delivers the sentence: 11 years in federal prison, 135 months, plus 3 years of supervised release after, and restitution, millions that a boss will likely never be able to fully repay. The number echoes through the courtroom. 11 years. A boss is 39 years old. By the time he walks free, he'll be 50, middle-aged. The world he knew, the Instagram economy, the influencer culture, the digital landscape he exploited, will have evolved into something unrecognizable. His followers will have moved on. The luxury brands will have found new ambassadors. Dubai's skyline will have changed. And Ramon Abbas will be a cautionary tale. The guards escort him out. The courtroom empties. The journalists file their stories. The victims receive notification emails. Justice administered. But the story doesn't end in a courtroom. It ends in the questions it leaves behind.